Okay. Hey there, Burke. Burke at work. How's it going there? Get these heads over here. I'm working on lure eyes. That's what I'm working on. Oh, thank you for the likes. I appreciate that. Let me go get that AC on a little bit more. Get the air conditioning cranked up a little bit. Get some air flowing in here. Okay, get my chair fixed up a little bit. Okay. Here we go. Got a few people in here. Are those eyes also? No, I make the. I don't make these eyes. No, I buy them. I do have a fellow that makes them, and then there's a couple other places I go. There's a store on eBay, and I can't remember the name. It's saved on my phone, but I get a lot of my stuff from him. But he does a lot of eyes. I think he's called the Eye Guy. The Eye Guy or something like that. Trying to get this chair adjusted right. On this chair here, I got a new seat cushion. I've been dealing with stuff. Sitting all day is not good sometimes. Sometimes when you sit all day at work, it's not best for you. Okay, so I need to. These are 4mm eyes that I'm putting on here right now. These here are 5mm eyes. These are the jig heads with the bait keepers. Hey there, cat. Or that car. Car. I cannot read that sideways. My phone is diagonal, so I can't read all the messages that well. Welcome in, welcome in. Car editor X. Cool. So they'll take a couple of minutes to fully cure. I found out that some of the resins that are UV, if they take, some of them advertise 6 to 10 seconds, it's fully cured. Some of those resins that don't take that long to cure, they're really good for, doing the gluing like knots on flies, but they're not they're not as strong when you're putting eyes on. One of the first glues I used in the beginning, there were these TV ads for UV resin that was like a UV glue. And right now I'm trying to get my coffee. Yesterday I had an accident in the shop and I spilled. I didn't knock it over all the way, and I'm thankful for that. But I had one of my drinks tip over a little bit. So I was having to do, I didn't lose anything. I was so afraid it was going to get on the chenille, because one of my tables I have in here has a lot of chenille just strewn everywhere. And so anyway, I had to get off my live stream. I was pouring lead, and anyway, I didn't really lose anything of importance. So anyway, to get back on the eyes, this is a UV resin that I've been using for the last couple of months. We normally sell the Gulf resin, which is really good. This stuff cures a little bit faster, and it's a whole lot stronger. But anyway, I'm doing eyes today. These are the ones that I painted up yesterday. Some of them are the ones that I poured yesterday too. So it's pretty laborious on these eyes. It's a booger sometimes. I'll read the messages here in just a bit. Let me get this down here. Hey there, Landon. Hey there, Anexa. I don't know how to say that. Hey there. Yeah, thanks everybody for coming in. This is not the exhilarating, exciting part. So I've been doing this all morning. I thought I was going to have all these done, and I could get some pictures taken, and they could go on the website, but it just didn't happen. Sometimes that happens. You plan for things, but sometimes the things just don't work out. That's what that is right there. Has a bait keeper on there for plastics. Make sure they're not tacky. Let's get the green eyes out again. So this is the same format I use when I do the jigs that I'm tying on. We do have a website, RubenFloresJigs.com. Link is in the bio. And I don't think these are on the website right now. We sold these a long time ago. They just took forever to make. Now, since I'm pouring them faster, I thought, hey, we're going to start pushing these dudes again. Start pushing them out. Unlike the freestyle mold has a little indentation on the jig head that you put your eye in. Thank you everybody for coming in. And thank you for the likes too. We're going to be doing our drawing a little bit later on this afternoon. We have rain coming in this afternoon too. I'm going to give away some lures. Gotta be careful not to put too much glue on these. It'll run over the sides. It'll land on the foam. Some of them I can rescue. Yeah, some of them are just casualties. I haven't fished with plastics in years. I got friends of mine that fish with plastics, but we'll see how these go on the website. I think we'll sell some. But in either case, it'd be nice to start selling these. These here are on a number 2 hook. They do fit perfect for a Bobby Garland lure. They'll fit perfect for snacky lures, cutthroat jigs, Sammy's nibbler baits. What color do you guys think sell the most? We got any answers in here? These are some of the ones that I did earlier. Okay, I'll get the 1/8 ounce. They're a lot bigger. That's our Mad Shad jig head right there. Did those earlier. Did some of the orange ones with their green eyes. I need to do some more of these. These are the red ones with green eyes. Yeah, I didn't get a whole lot done this morning. I was straightening up a lot of stuff that I'm on my table from yesterday's accident. That's the 1/8 ounce. Now the 1/8 ounce come on a number 1 hook. They are on a number 1 hook. I'm going to let these go. Since these are in the back, they don't get as much light as the other ones. We're going to throw these in for about another 30 seconds to a minute. I can feel the heat down there. Shiner. If I were talking hentais, yeah. Yeah, I don't know on the jig heads. I think now we do sell jig heads without eyes, and we seem to sell a whole lot more of the pink heads for some reason. A pink head or a red head, I liked using those when I fished with plastics. But again, I don't fish with plastics hardly anymore. I know some of my friends that make plastics, they don't, some of them sell jig heads, but not a whole lot of them do. Hey there, Chris. Love your lives. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, these are ready to go. These here are 1/8 ounce with the #1 hook. I still got a lot of cleaning to do this weekend. I got to clear up one of the walls that I have so I can hang these up on there. My wife is off work. She's off for the whole summer. Oh, man. Thank you, everybody, for the likes. We got 6 likes already. Yeah, I'll be doing this here for the next about 40 minutes or so. These are the shiners here. They're going to have red eyes on these jig heads. I've been doing some research online, trying to see what colors other people put out or companies. I don't want to be just like them. There's one company that all their jig heads have green eyes. It doesn't matter if it's a black head. Doesn't matter if it's a chartreuse head. Some of them have white heads that they sell. I guess that does save time and money where you're not carrying all these different color eyes like I do. I got a bunch of different color eyes. I'm packing up my fly tying stuff. It's a lot. And I have a 3-foot tall toolbox. Oh my goodness, filled to the brim. Yeah, I don't take, we have our Gamakatsu boxes or the Spro boxes. They fit a lot of lures in there. Then I have a backpack, tackle pack. It makes it easier if I'm just throw it on my back and get my hands freed up. PC Fun, they I've sold reels for them the last couple years on our TikTok shop. But they make some really good backpacks for fishing. I have a couple of their backpacks. One is a really big size one. I use that for my catfish gear. I don't really need one that big, but and then the other one is for crappie. And they both fit, you know, the Gamakatsu boxes in them. We do have the Gamakatsu boxes coming in. They should be here either today or tomorrow. And then we also have our peak rotary vices coming in tomorrow. And as far as I know, I just have 2 vices coming in. Hopefully we can get some more soon. We got a pedestal vise, which comes with a base, and then the other one's just a C-clamp vise. Hey there, David. It's snowing. Oh my goodness, it's snowing up in May. Oh yeah. You switch every Friday. I'm going to throw these back in for another 30 seconds. Do you come from, are your parents divorced, Burke? I come from my parents divorced when I was a kid. Get some more coffee here. And I'll read the messages. It's tough. It is tough when you're growing up in like a divorced household. A lot of times you have double holidays. Good thing is when you're a little kid, you're like, oh, I get 2 birthday parties. But as an adult, sometimes it's tough. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, sometimes that happens. Well, it needs a little more light. I am putting them in these UV lights. The UV lights that you use for like fingernails and stuff. I found one of the more powerful UV lamps, and it does pretty good. Um, it does pretty good. I've seen people build their own little UV. Man, that's, I don't know what's up with that. Maybe I put too much glue on there. I've seen people build these UV ovens, and sometimes they work. Sometimes they're, you know, they're kind of big and bulky, and I'm very fortunate that I have what you call enough workspace that I have different stations for everything that I do. We do all that together, birthdays, Christmases, things like that. Oh, that's good. That's really good. That's what those look like right there. The 16th eyes, they only take about, I'd say about 3-4 minutes to cure. They're smaller. There's not as much glue on there because it's, you know, smaller surface. They tend to go by really fast. The 1/8 ounce, they take a little longer. 1/4 ounce, they take a little longer too. But once you have UV lights running for a while, it generates a heat in there. That also helps cure the resin on there. It helps cure the resin. Here we go, got it right there. That's where I need it. Okay, which are the ones? Okay. The bigger heads now. I'm still it's still up in the air whether I'm going to put 5 or 6 of these in a pack. Hey there, John. Good morning. And thank you there, John. Yeah, that is our website right there, guys. That is the link. You can get our product set. These came out really nice. That little powder trick and the soldering helped out a little bit, but that putting that powder in the mold, man, that helped a bunch. I super amazed how the cavities got filled up really good. You still getting a lot of rain up there, John? We're supposed to have some here later this afternoon. My wife's trying to get some little some shopping done right now while the weather's pretty good. It does feel nice. It's a lot cooler. I twisted my ankle again last night. It's not as bad as it was before. It's not all bruised up. It just seems I get a little bit better, and then I have another setback. .48. Heat is still coming on. Oh, yeah. I think we were in the high 50s this morning. I think we're getting up to about 74, 75 today. Last night I watched the basketball game. And I watched some fishing too. I had a friend of mine on TikTok, he was fishing. Arizona big man. And then there's a young lady that fishes too in Arizona. She will go fishing by herself. I don't know if she caught much. I think she had one channel cat. And I think she caught a bunch of perch. She might be getting one of her 4-foot crappie poles here pretty soon. Arizona big man, he uses our striker rod, and I was really pleased. It seemed like all his bites last night were coming on the striker rod. He was using our rod, and he was using some other rod, some other company's rod. Okay, I'll take another coffee break and I'll read some of the messages in here. Hello, Marisol. How's it going, Marisol? How did I do that? Oh, I'm doing it right now. I'm putting the eyes on the heads right now. Everybody does them different. There's a lot of people that some people will use the adhesive eyes. The adhesive eyes do okay. They're not, you know, they do come off quicker than the how I'm doing them. And some people will use a UV resin on the bottom. Some people use super glue. Just a lot of people do use different methods. I used to put the UV resin on the bottom, and I would just lay the eye on top, and then I'd put it underneath the UV lamps. And we were having problems with some of the eyes coming off. They'd stay on there a while, but they would still come off. So now I'm just putting the eye on there. There's a little bit of stickiness on there. It's not enough to hold the eye on there permanently. But then I lay a UV resin on top of it. In the very beginning, years ago, I used to just glue each jig eye on there as I was tying the jigs. These here have bait keepers though, but I got into this format. I'm like, man, there has to be a faster way. I'm like, if I was working in a factory, how would they do it? You know, the factories do it a lot different than what I do, but I thought, you know, this is a lot faster. It's more effective. I get the eye on there, and then, you know, I could work with it. Now we're going to do the gold ones. What style of lures is the most forgiving? I've had the most luck with spinner bait, with live bait, with smallmouth bass. Yeah, 4-foot crappie pole. There's no such thing as a 4-foot crappie. Yeah. The material, these are just jig heads. I poured some yesterday and I poured some the night before. But I have a mold that I put the hook in, and then I pour lead through the mold. And then these are the ones with the bait keepers. These will be used for, let me go get some more plastics. I have a lot of plastics. I have more plastics than probably tournament anglers have. I used to fish a lot with plastics till I started making lures. And then on top of that, I would get plastics every year from my mother-in-law, of all people. Even though I started making my own baits, she would send me plastics. So, okay, here's a jig head, and here's a plastic. Everybody puts them on differently. Some people put them on there that way. Some people put them on there that way. This bait here is a Bobby Garland swim bait. It does have a split right there, so I'm going to put mine on there this way, just for the sake of this illustration. And then these have a bait keeper on there to hold your plastic. And then there you go. You got a fishing lure. This one has a swim tail on there. It'll like flutter in the water. So that's what you got right there. Yeah, it looks pretty good, I think. I think that'll catch some fish. And then you rip it off. Once you rip it off, it's virtually no good. If you do rip one off and you're using a bait keeper, and I had mine on there this way, flip it around, and you can reuse it again a second time. That'll help out too. Now it doesn't look that great like that, but you know, usually crappie will bite. They'll bite almost anything. Now the lures I make are hand-tied lures, and those are the ones that I've been in business doing, for a long time. You don't have to worry about the plastic or the tail coming off or anything like that. They do last for a long time. I got customers that they they've had my lures for like literally 10 years, and they still pull them out of the tackle box. They'll pull them out, catch a couple fish, they'll switch colors, put the jig back in the box or the bag or whatever they put them in, and they've just our lures last a long time. Hey there, Ewas. Good morning. I'll catch you later, Berg. Thank you for dropping in as always. We'll be doing our drawing somewhere between 4 and 5 o'clock today. We'll be doing a drawing. I'm kind of putting a loose schedule out there because I have no clue at all if my wife has plans or anything like that, but we're going to do a drawing here later on. Anybody throwing out any $5 increment gifts, like if you throw out a $20 gift, you'll get 4 shots on the wheel. Throw out a $5 gift, you'll get one spot on the wheel. It is a holiday weekend, so I'm not going to push myself to get a whole lot of stuff done. I'm pretty much caught up with on lures. All the orders are out. I have one custom order that I may start working on today. It's an incomplete order. He doesn't know exactly what all he wants. He's put in a partial order. And it's a customer that will send me money in the mail. He'll send me money in the mail, and usually there's a note written in there of what he wants. So I know it's coming in because he sent me a message saying the money's on the way. I just don't know exactly what all he wants, And we'll find out either today or tomorrow when the mail gets here. I still got a lot of customers that do that. They'll send me a money order or something. I don't do some checks. I still have customers that will send checks in the mail, but I don't really advise that if you're a new customer, because the ones that have been sending the checks, they've been my customer for years. Oh my goodness, thank you there, John. Yep. Go ahead and get a screenshot. John's out there for two more spots on the wheel. You guys make sure to put a W up there for Mr. John. Appreciate that, John. Appreciate the super chat. Did I just pull these out? I think I pulled them out, didn't I? I think I did. I can't remember what I was doing now. Sometimes old school works better for some folks. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I have some customers that they don't do. They may have found me on Facebook or whatever, but they they don't do any purchasing online, which is kind of amazing these days. They'll just send me a money order. I have customers. I'll open up the envelope, and there'll be loose change in there. There'll be like a bunch of quarters and dimes and $1 and $5 bills, and there'll be a note. They want the striker jig, they want the assassin, they want the shiner, and they just, you know, have never taken a grasp of ordering online. Do you guys know anybody like that? My mom was like that. My mom, uh, she, in the town that we live or that I grew up at, everything's in town. The telephone, there's an office for AT&T or services in town where you could pay your bill. The water department, the electric company, they all have offices, and they have drive-throughs where you can just take your bill and give them a check or whatever, you know. And then my other mom, my stepmom, which I call her mom, uh, they'll buy stuff online. I do appreciate all the support I get from you guys. I'm not getting wealthy, I'm just letting you know. I do this almost every day. I was going to go fishing this weekend, but it is Memorial Weekend, and they closed down a couple of the camps, or the campsites, uh, in the area, and I just don't want to go driving and go to one of those spots. There's a couple of spots I may hit that are kind of, how would I say, they're not well populated with people, so I may go do something like that. And clean their cow. Yeah, you got that right. Um, Visa gift card at any. Yeah, yeah, you can do that. Yeah. You guys, I don't even know if they still sell them. Do you remember the old phone cards? These days there's no real long distance. There used to be long distance when I was a kid. And they had where you could buy a phone card for 20 minutes or an hour or something. I doubt they even sell those things anymore. These are things you kind of grow up with that just aren't around anymore. I grew up in Kerrville, Texas, and if you called San Antonio, which is an hour away, you had to pay long distance fees. Those things are unheard of today. I remember going to college, and they had a couple payphones on their premises, and I would cash out a bunch of quarters. I'd call my mom and dad, uh, talk to them when I lived out in California. I would call Texas. Busy with Karen's scolding me. Um, yeah, isn't that crazy? And finally got rid of landline. Yeah, I think my mother-in-law still has a landline. I don't think she uses it hardly. I mean, she may not have it anymore, but I know for the longest time she still had a landline, which helped out in some cases. Um, and we're talking years ago. I doubt she has it. Now that I'm thinking about it, but I remember there were times where you have a cell phone and the cell phone tower would be out, and so you couldn't make any phone calls. But she had the landline service. Remember, you go online with America Online, and you hear that telephone, that fax sound that's on there, trying to connect. Our very first tabletop computer PC was a Gateway 2000, and uh, and that was before Dell came out with their computer line. I was so happy to get a Gateway 2000, and then it wasn't that long after that it became obsolete, and we're like, man, we can't do this. That had so much speed on it, had so much memory, and ended up having to get a Dell computer. Old fashioned, yeah, the modem noise. And then your screen, if you had a slow connection, would take forever to load up a page or a picture. Because I would go to Bass Pro quite a bit when the internet first started coming out, and I still at that time was getting uh, the Bass Pro catalog. I would get, that was back. You had J.C. Penney catalogs, Sears, Montgomery Ward's. All these catalogs would come in, and my catalog, I loved getting the Bass Pro catalog. I looked for the Christmas one, the fall, the spring, and they were pretty thick. You're talking, a catalog that's about as thick as a finger. There, you go thumbing through it and see all the new stuff coming out. On the back side, you see the boats and all that kind of stuff on there. Um, my mom always has a new cell phone, but a modem landline. Same. Oh, really? We used to go. What phone service was that? I'll throw these back for another 30 seconds. We had, and I can't remember what phone service. I remember our first cell phone was an Ericsson, We got one phone because I wanted it for my wife, and because I'd go to work, and I wanted to make sure if she had an emergency, she could call somebody. And then I got my cell phone, and we had those old Ericsson phones. And I remember seeing these new phones that were coming out, I think by Motorola or something, and their phone had the vibration. Uh, and I wanted to get one for my Ericsson. And back then, at that time, the cell phones had a battery. For some of you young people out there, the cell phones had a battery that you clamp on the back, or you could take off the back end, take out the battery, put a new battery in there, um, because the batteries, you're lucky if you got 2 hours worth of phone time on there, or 4 hours of you know. But I remember those. It had a yeah, but I think it was Motorola or Voice Stream, or I can't remember what it was. My wife went down to Texas for a wedding, and so I'm calling up my wife to see how she is. She's down there for like 2 days or whatever, her and her mom, and I couldn't make it because I had to work or something. And anyway, so we're talking on the phone, and then the next bill that we got was like a $700 bill because of all the roaming charges, because she was down in Texas. That was just crazy. Hey, Mr. Richard. You should be getting your package here soon. Okay, what are we doing next? Oh, I got to do these too. I forgot about these. Get these out of the way. I'm just doing jig heads with bait keepers. Jig heads with bait keepers. We're just all talking about old times, old times, old times. Yeah, I found out today or last night that I think J.C. Penney's, they're closing like 8 or 10 stores this weekend. These came out really good. I like how these came out. I'm excited about being able to sell these. Macy's too. Yep. Everything's just going to be Walmart, Amazon. Walmart and Amazon. There is a convenience with ordering from Amazon that's unparalleled. is wanting to move. There we go. Let's get it back in the middle. Oh, come on now. There we go. Sometimes they want to move on you. Yeah, that would be the Amazon parade instead of the Macy's. It would be the Macy's parade, sponsored by Amazon.com. Oh, they'll keep a couple of the Macy's opened. Macy's to me was always the upper echelon. It was like a grade or two higher than J.C. Penney's. I used to love going to Sears. When I worked construction, when I was a roofer, I liked going to Sears because I'd get their, what is it, the Craftsman hammers. They had like a lifetime warranty on them or something. And then they had really good boots too at Sears for construction. Yeah. I think those will work out pretty good. We just got to start selling plastics now. I hear a car door. That may be my wife. Yeah, they used to sell fishing gear. We had a Sears in our hometown. They didn't sell the clothing there, but they sold lawnmowers and refrigerators and dishwashers, and stoves. And then if we wanted to get clothes, we'd have to go to the Sears in San Antonio. San Antonio is the big time shopping in San Antonio. And I liked going to Sears as a little kid in San Antonio because we didn't have a McDonald's in our town growing up when I was little. So we always got to go to Jack in the Box or McDonald's or somewhere like that if we went shopping for clothes. These here are the 1/8 ounce. You can see the difference. Somebody just put in an order. Yeah, we only got like one order yesterday. That went out in the morning. I was able to bag that up and get it out there before the post office lady came. We got to send out a bunch of lures to, there's this fishing derby that they have, like the second week in June. They do this one town has a free fishing derby for little kids. And for the last couple of years, we've been sending jigs down there and products for them. I gotta remember to send it out. It's like June the 10th or some weekend day, like a Saturday, they have it for the kids. Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty good. I twisted my ankle again last night. Man, that just was a stinker. Okay, let me get a coffee break. But I'm doing pretty good. Just getting a lot of these eyes on the jigs that I poured up yesterday and the day before. I thought I was going to go live before 9 o'clock, but it just didn't happen. I've been cleaning up the shop a little bit. I got to get some things organized. I'm thinking we're going to probably put out some squirrel tail jigs on the website too. We're kind of caught up on our 1/32, 16th, and 1/8 ounce. I mean, I don't have an empty hook on the wall, and so this weekend I'm just going to fill up, you know, the low. I may tie like 2 or 3 packs of some of the colors that we're running a little bit low on, and I'm probably going to work on doing some squirrel tail jigs. Yeah, it just kind of a freak accident. One of the dogs had an accident on the floor, and me not looking down, I stepped on it, and it's that gross feeling that you get when you're barefooted, and I jumped, you know, to get off it because it, you know, you get that squishy, nasty feeling on your foot, And as I jumped back, I rolled my right ankle again. I'm like, oh, I was so ticked off. I couldn't walk hardly, and I did, and my back's hurting. And so I was just really ticked off, and I'm yelling at my wife to come out and help me. She didn't think it was pleasant. Yeah, it just one of them freak things, and it's not bruised up. It's stiff. It's just really stiff, and so. Uh, but yeah, things like that happen in my life too. So anyhow, I'm doing okay. I get to go see the doctor here in a couple of weeks, my orthopedic doctor, and they're going to see what they could do for my back. I'm also kind of hunting around for a chiropractor that will take my insurance. I didn't realize my insurance is not that good. Here you thinking you're getting a great deal on this insurance, and it does help out for regular doctor visits and stuff, but they declined me on my MRI. I thought, man, that's just lousy, but I guess that's what happens when you get cheap insurance. Yeah, barefoot. I don't know what that means there, really. Okay, we're almost all done with the eyes with the bait keepers. I'm gonna paint some of those heads today too, because I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna need a lot more. These here are for tying. These are for the moneymaker jig. I think we got maybe 2 or 3 packs of these on the wall. I've been pretty fortunate the last couple of tackle shop orders that have come in. We've practically had everything already done. So if you're brand new to our channel, we do have a website, and we try to keep in stock all the 32nds, 16th, and 1/8 ounce lures, and we do carry we do make 1/80ths, 1/64th, 24th, and 1/4 ounce lures too, but I make those up by the order. With it slowing down a little bit, that gives me some more free time to get a bunch of heads painted for the the 1/80s, the 64ths, and the 24ths, and I'm going to get some painted up for the 1/4 ounce lures too. These here that I'm painting right now with the gold heads and the red eyes are with the bait keeper. They'll be used for plastic baits. Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Mr. Big Country Catfishing. How are you doing? Are you off today? Or are you having to work? I know a lot of people, they've taken their vacations around this holiday. Good time to go on vacation, I guess. Yeah, if you guys can, make sure to pick up Big Country Catfishing. Him and his wife have been really good people. There we go. A little feather there. Appreciate everybody in here. Yeah, this isn't too exciting. Some people are like, after they watch a minute or two of this, they're like, I see what he's doing. I've had enough. This is pretty simple that I might, if Stephanie works in the shop, she can do these pretty easy. Are you guys going to be going fishing this weekend, Big Country? Mr. Rodney? Today's Friday, so there's a good chance we may see Pontoon Judy tonight fishing. I got to watch Arizona Big Man last night. He did pretty good. Okay, let's get this out. Get those out of the way. Let's get the glue on here. This is how I do my eyes. A lot of people do them differently. It's a little bit slow of a process, but it works pretty good for me. I used to do the super glue when I first started putting eyes on, and sometimes it got kind of messy. And then sometimes the super glues just didn't hold up that well. And then some of the resins that you use, they require like 24 to 48 hours of cure time on there. This goes by pretty fast. If I'm really I won't say in a hurry, but if I want to get a lot of stuff done, I'll have like 3 layers of eyes going at the same time. Or 3 rows. And I can get a lot done that way. Okay, all of these are 1/8 ounce. And man, they do look pretty. Hey, happy Memorial weekend. Yep. How's it going there, man? just gluing eyes. We got a mover here. There we go. Okay, these here are for the money maker. Money maker jig. I didn't see the Crappie Man go live yesterday. I just missed his entire live. I like watching him work. Some of these other jig makers, they don't really, oh, how'd I say, they don't interact with their audience. And Steven interacts with everybody, which is pretty good. Hey there, William. Coffee time. So this morning I did a lot of work on, well, a lot of cleanup. Some stuff I just had to throw away. Some of the stuff I have in here, it's like, I've had it in here for like 5 years, and it's like, I'm like, I'm just gonna chuck it out. I gotta make room for other stuff for me to hoard for the next 5 years, I guess. You guys ever get that way? Flow Spin Moneymaker. Yep, Thunderbird. We added some new colors. We're probably going to be adding some new colors here soon. I'm thinking of putting out some squirrel tail jigs. I don't know. I know. When we got a lot of customers that they'll order custom jigs, and some of these customers, in fact, the majority of these customers that like actual hair jigs are like from Alabama and Mississippi, and they seem to really like their squirrel tail and their bucktail. So I'm thinking of putting out a couple of colors with squirrel tail. Hey there, the damn fishing guy. How are you doing there, man? Hey there, Rich. Hey there, Tim. Oh, you do? Oh, well, thank you. I need to put up more videos, too. Need to get some more videos out there. We're going to be doing our giveaway this afternoon, somewhere around 4 and 5 o'clock. We'll be giving away a bunch of jigs. Raccoon tail works right. Yes, it does. Raccoon tail does work good. I think I still have a couple of tails hanging up on the wall somewhere. And believe it or not, some of you guys are going to think it's crazy. Skunk tail works really good too. If you could get that skunk before it starts spraying you. I'll tell you what tail doesn't work that good is possum tail. I'm just kidding when I say that. We've trapped a few possum in the last couple of years on our property. We have chickens, as you know, most of you guys know, and so we'll set traps out in our backyard to get these possums because sometimes they'll get the eggs, and sometimes they'll get to the chickens too. Every so often, we'll have one in the hen house or the chicken coop or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Uh, and bear hair is good too. I've done some with bear hair. We got a few customers that will. I guess they. I don't. I think they go to Colorado or somewhere, but they go hunting every year for a bear. Apparently, they like eating bear meat, bear steaks. I had some childhood friends that them and their dad they'd go hunting every year to Colorado and they try to get a bear or two. Have any of you guys ever eaten bear? I've eaten bear once. It was pretty good. Bear's pretty good. Uh, Pinch it off while they're sleeping. I didn't eat the coon. Yeah. The animal that really has nice fur is a mole. Really? Oh, they have soft fur. Bear sausage. Yeah. Yeah. A long time ago, I had some bear meat. I'll tell you what's weird. I had ostrich one time. I worked at a meat packing plant, and they first started me off working in the jerky room, and we had probably about 8 or 10 guys in there cutting up whatever beef round or whatever to cut up into jerky, and we'd cut them up. They'd be on these strings, and they'd hang them up, and they had a gas room where they smoked everything in there. But I got switched out to the exotics room or section of the of the slaughterhouse, or not slaughterhouse, but the meat packing plant. And so we got to do buffalo, ostrich. We did all kinds of deer. But uh, the guy that had was having us butcher his ostrich um, had, you know, joked about it and said, have you guys ever eaten ostrich? And he says it, really good. And to me, it was like dark meat. And he gave us, or he gave my boss, the guy that I worked under. He was the one actually butchering. I just deboned everything. Gave him some of the meat and said, "Here, you need to try it. It's awesome." So anyway, Henry, who is my boss, Henry Chacon, he was going to cook some up one evening and said, "Yeah, you come on over, and we'll have some ostrich tacos." And they were pretty good. It was pretty good. Beer is very rich. Yes, it is. Looked and tasted exactly like one. Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was really good. Elk was like best. Yeah, elk is to me. Elk tastes like beef. Yeah, elk to me. Elk is like beef to me. Do I make jigs based on traditional flies like Coach? No, I sure don't. A lot of the jigs I make, and I'm going to show off a couple here, uh, have that kind of a pattern on there. That's our number one selling color right there. That's the shiner. And then we have some new colors out like that. That's our. I do some stuff that is, you know, like our little. Now we do this style of lure. We do it on a 1/80th, 1/64th. Some of those people will use those lures for fly fishing. But a lot of these are used for crappie and bass and trout and walleye and striper and things like that. So that's the main style of lure that, you know, the majority of our audience is for crappie and bream and things like that. Years ago I wanted to get into fly fishing type flies, um, and I tie some like small streamers and stuff like clousers, but for the most part, you know, that profile I showed you there, that's the majority of everything, you know, that's hanging on the wall pretty much looks like that. We do some walleye lures, not a whole lot, but we do some. And people use these also for walleye, you know, this type profile. Oh, well, thank you. No, I've never used coyote fur. I used to hunt for coyotes though. Um, had chunks and ground deer. Yep, deer's good. I never liked deer growing up. The people that cooked deer when I was younger, I just don't think they cooked it really right. Um, yeah, I like deer chili. My wife makes some really good deer chili. I don't go hunting, but we have hunters that will trade out meat for jigs and stuff. They'll also give me bucktails too. Are you making me hungry? Yeah. Um, a woofer. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty interesting there. I've eaten squirrel. My grandmother on my dad's side, I would hunt squirrel when I was a teenager, and I would save the tails because we would sell the tails to the local. Um, oh, what do you call it? They have a name for those people that buy it. But I would trap raccoons. Um, I would, you know, go trapping for fox, but I could never catch a fox. But we would trap rabbits and raccoons and every Saturday in the fall and winter down in South Texas, there would be these buyers that would meet up at they'll either meet up at one of the local oh, tackle stores, and then also at our Gibson's discount center. They would meet there, and we would take our furs and tails and stuff, you know, like that to them. Mostly gray, yeah. I have some. I got a couple of bags of the gray and the brown that are uh, pretty good. I had someone give me a bunch of tails, but yeah, I used to hunt the squirrel. My grandmother would cook the squirrel. It's pretty good. I mean, when I first ate it, uh, or when I was first told that I was going to eat it, um, you know, you just got this. I get this cringy look on my face, and and then she made some kind of a stew or whatever, and didn't tell me that it was the squirrel. And man, I ate it all up, and then they told me what it was. And but after that, I would eat it, and I would bring her the squirrel. I'd never eaten raccoon though. I don't know if I'd want to eat a raccoon. Yeah, I got one bag. Well, I got one bag sitting right up here. Nothing but squirrel fur or tail. Yeah, that's what I'm wanting to tie this dude up. Get all that stuff there. Yeah, someone had we traded out for jigs a long time ago. And then I got, I got the other squirrels, that's from like Wapsi that has different colors. I got a lot of that, and then I get a lot of bucktail from hunters, and then I get a lot of duck feathers and oh, I didn't know that people would hunt. I guess it's herring. I could be completely off when I say this, but they'll hunt like herring and those kind of birds. I think they're herring. And one of the hunters says, "Man, that it's eating that meat there. It's like eating like exotic steak. It's like eating really tender steak." Hey, Deborah, how you doing? I'm just doing eyeballs today. So far. Uh-oh. Just gluing eyes. Um, theflyhaircompany.com. Lots of different species, 40 colors. Oh, wow. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I always wanted to get into fly fishing flies, but it just never, our jig business really took off to where it's hard to fit tying them and some of the patterns even, I do some stuff when I'm not on camera, um, as far as tying flies and practicing and stuff like that. There's just so much out there. That's one of those things that for the fly fishermen, there's always going to be a need for fly tires that tie fly fishing flies. No plastic in the world is going to replicate, some of these little mini flies that these guys tie. Now, there are companies out there that have taken over with all the nymphs and stuff. They got these factories that they just spit them out left and right. But for some of the stuff that Brian does and some of the guys like the Tick Tire and all them guys, um, also Smythe flies, that there's not going to be a machine or any kind of plastic that can replace that. They have some job security, but the bad thing is, um, there's just a lot of fly tires out there. I have to try dyeing them in different colors. Yeah. Do I think eyes make the fish bite, or just the fisherman? It's a little bit of both there, Big John. When I started crappie fishing, I was fishing from docks and just vertical fishing. And then I would go out and do some, casting of baits. That needs a little more light. I would do some casting, and I think for the jig, um, like how I make, um, I think if you're like bank fishing or casting and reeling, or casting and retrieving, Um, I think a round head would work great because the bait's moving, and you don't, you know, you're not giving the your target long enough look to see, what color eyes or what, to the fish, they're not able to tell exactly what they're biting on for the most part. But if you're vertical fishing, that bait is just sitting there. It's sitting there, you're dropping it down. If you're live scoping or whatever, that bait's going to sit down. It's going to drop gradually. A lot of the guys that do forward facing sonar, they seem to like the ones with the eyes. But the eye thing too, it's also an eye grabber for fishermen. I mean, some people, they're not super serious, but they'll buy a bait because it looks pretty cool and it gives them more confidence. So it's a little bit of both. I mean, I do believe sometimes the eyes do help for the fish, but if it gives the fisherman a little more confidence or whatever, that's awesome too. These here, we just I poured some of these a day or well. Let me put these back under the light a little more. I just poured some of these out a day or two ago, and so these are going to have a bait keeper. And so for some of the new people watching in here, I've already done this illustration a bunch of times in the last couple of days, but these have a bait keeper and they're for plastic. So depending on how you put them on there, we don't sell plastics, but we're going to have stuff, we're going to have more stuff available for people that use plastics. They'll be able to use our jig heads and hopefully be able to catch more fish, let's see. But it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both there, John. I don't see how some places charge $1.95 for a fly. What did they pay wholesale? Yeah, I get a lot of emails every day. I say every day, at least a couple of times a week. There's some places, whether they be in Africa, India, Pakistan, China, Korea. Some of they're just overseas, and a lot of times they're selling these flies, uh, and they'll send me an they'll send me an email with their catalog, and they'll have these little bitty flies on there for fly fishing, and they're selling them for maybe a nickel a piece. And so a nickel a piece for us in the U.S. is not a lot of money, but on their end, a dollar over there uh, is what they make a whole day in some cases. And so if they're making a dollar or two, the worker, they're doing pretty good. Again, things that, and it's not. Some people will say slave labor, and I see that a lot of times with some politicians that they'll say it's slave labor over there, and it's not really slave labor. It's just the cost of living is that cheap there. They don't survive and thrive on the internet. They don't live with the name brand items. They a lot of times some of these people in these other countries, uh, they're happy eating rice with a little bit of whatever beef or animal in there or whatever. They're not out getting the Sonic cheeseburger or the McDonald's Big Mac and all that. They live very frugal, and they're able to make a lot of lures. And again, a dollar here doesn't go a long way, but a dollar there, you know, will go a long ways over there. So my input on that is some of the flies are pretty good, some of them aren't that good. But no, so what happens here, John, is you got these companies here that they'll buy up a couple $1,000s of these flies that are a nickel a piece or a dime a piece. They'll sell them for $1.95. So they're $4,000 or $5,000 investment ends up turning into a $25,000, $30,000 investment because they're doing more than doubling their money. Many species recognize weather predator. Yeah, it's also flash color. Yep. Big John, I don't know what you're kidding about, but you did have a good comment there a while ago. Predator, okay. I think I'm caught up on messages. I try not to miss the messages coming in. But no, I mean, some people buy the jigs there because they look good. My wife is guilty of that. She likes pink. She likes purple. A lot of times she'll pick baits that have those colors in them. So, whatever information I put out there, uh, again, I'm no veteran. I'm not a seasoned pro. You know, when it comes to oh, what do you say? Just I again, a lot of stuff that the advice I give out may be somewhat regional because I fish mainly Oklahoma. The fishing's a lot different in other states. And so I a lot of times I'll give my preferences on certain things, and and then that's all it is. It's just my preference. Everybody has a preference. So I've sometimes people will attack my comments, and and they're not doing it on my live streams as much, but they're doing it on some of the videos I put out there. Um, they'll just have a comment, and then again, I don't know what, if their comment to take it seriously in a negative way, or because I know some people aren't really eloquent when they're chatting, putting a comment down. I have friends of mine like Jerry Starkey. He is very, he is just articulate when it comes to making a post on Facebook or whatever, and and I know Jerry personally. He's just a very um, he's just a super studious type of fisherman. Um, but again, a lot of the stuff that I put out there, it may help you out as a fisherman, or it may not. Everybody's different. I do know this. I sometimes may act like I know it all, but I don't really know everything. I do appreciate everybody in here. I see 16 people in here and 19 likes. Did I just put the eyes on these? I think I did. I don't think I didn't put any glue on these, so we better do that. I have been guilty of tying a jig and the eye just falls off. It's like, oh, that one. I guess I got too busy talking on my live stream and forgot to put glue on it. But I do appreciate everybody's comments in the chat, and again, I know well enough to know that I don't know everything, and so you know, but I do know some people that you know they're very smart and intelligent people, especially when it comes to fishing, and and people that have fished, not just in Oklahoma, they go fishing in a lot of different states, and they do have a lot of really good advice. Is that all I have here now? Okay. Okay, we're going to let this go on the lights. I'm going to go to the vise. I'm going to take you guys over to the vise with me. And I'm going to hook you guys up to the mic. So I'm going to flip this camera around. You're going to see some light. And don't worry, it's not like you're in heaven. Don't go to the light. Watch out for the light, guys. Get this off. You guys want to see all my phone stands and stuff? I'm going to show you guys all my setups that I have. Okay. I'm going to flip this around. Okay, that's my phone stand that I have. I've had other phone stands here when I'm doing the lights, and those are my lights there. Those are my little ovens that I have, you know, that you guys are watching me, you know, put them under. And then over here, that's my painting station over there. And usually I have you guys on that stand right there. And then if I do a double live stream where I have TikTok and I'm also running YouTube, then I'll put my I'll put the TikTok phone over there, and I'll have this one where I'm running 2 different channels at the same time. And this is a mess here. Those are all the jig heads. Now we do sell jig heads that are unpainted, and that we now put on the website. We're going to have some more jig heads that are unpainted too. That's my oven there. It's a Stanley oven. We bought this when we came into the shop here. It's big enough to hold a pizza, and it's big enough to where if I put another setup in there, I can actually do 2 racks at a time, side by side, if we're doing a lot of stuff. And that's what we used to run, and those are the racks that I have. And so I do stuff, some of the big racks for some of the bigger jigs, and this one here that I have right there is the one that I would use for the sinkers, and I also did that for when I was doing like some big saltwater, like bucktail jigs. And then over here I have, these are all the jig heads that I have painted up. And so you guys see me paint jigs a lot of times, and I have them in these compartments. These compartments, you can get them at like Walmart or Hobby Lobby. I still have one old tackle box that I have all my 1/16 ounce pill heads. That's an actual old tackle box that you, like a Plano box there. And but that will be converted to one of these boxes here soon. And then I have like the 1/8. I have the 16th ounce rounds, 32nd rounds, 1/4 ounce, 1/24th, 64th, 80th, and then I got some spinner. That's probably going to go away here soon. I know we may end up using that, but anyhow, that's how that's set up. I used to have them when I first started, and see all the dust on there. As I used to put them in these boxes when I first started, because all I'd ever, you know, my first jigs. And here's this is like 14, 15 years old. And so the first jigs I ever tied were 1/80ths and 64th ounce. So I'm going to show you the other mess I have over here. And that's where I pour all the lead. That one's to melt down the raw lead. And that's what I use to pour the heads. And then this is my spin cast machine that hopefully will have a new spin caster here one day. So I'm going to take you guys over to the, well, I'm going to show you guys this part over here. All this stuff's going to come down, and it's going to go into storage bins that are easy to access. And that wall there is going to be for the jig heads with the bait keepers, and also the jig heads that are unpainted. So we got a lot of stuff here. My fly tying station set up a little different. I used to have 2 phone stands here, and I still do. I'll put up another one when I'm running TikTok and YouTube at the same time. Then over here we have our material. See, it's not a lot of room, and we only have so much space. I'm hoping one day we have a bigger building, and then that way I can kind of double up the space on our jigs. We got a lot of jigs. And so I'm going to show you guys the 1/8 ounce. Now we start up on our top with a 32nd, a 16th with round head, 16th with eyes, 1/8 ounce with the round head, and then a 1/8 ounce. And then we go down here, we start all over with this, with the 32nd, a 16th with eyes, 1/8 with round head, and then an 1/8 ounce with eyes. And then, so these are every 6 months we change these out, the order that they're in. The order right now on our top selling lures are like this. We have a shiner, it's our top seller. Slick Trick is our number 2. Mad Shads are number 3. Habanero's number 4. Gray Ghost, number 5, and then so on and so on. And so that's the Bumblebee, that's the Mongoose, that's the Midnight. The Midnight used to be our number 2 best-selling jig last year. And then that's the Moneymaker, Slab Queen, Thunderbird, Ninja, Mud Dog, Assassin, Glass Minnow, Barbie Doll. We got a Renegade. That's a new one. We'll find a new spot for that here soon. But I do change out the because we get a customer. Well, sometimes we get a customer about every 2 days here. But a lot of times people will ask, what are the top selling lures? And so I like putting them up in order, because that kind of gives them, for the customer that's coming out, that gives them a better idea of what's the top selling lure, So I'm going to take you guys over here. We're going to go on this phone stand on my vise. I'm going to put the mic on. And so this is the mic that I use. It's the Donner. I got that on Amazon, I believe. And it comes with a nice rechargeable container. You can charge it up. I charge this up maybe about every 3 days. And it'll come with that kind of mic. And it has a really good setup for like 40 bucks. You can't really beat that. It's a really good mic setup there. So I'm clipping this on. It doesn't have the mic. This is magnetic. It just clicks on there. However, I do use an extender. You can get these extenders like on Amazon, and what it does, it plugs in right there, and then I plug it up, and you're going to get volume. So it's pretty good setup there. Let's see. Here we go. So you guys are on my station there. Or let me get the light. Now I always turn off the backlight over there where I'm bluing the eyes. So I'm going to turn that off there because it does kind of shine a little different. But that mic there comes with all kinds. It comes with a really good setup there. It's a really good setup. They have a carrying case to help protect it. It has lanyards. It comes with lanyards and all kinds of other clips. Let's see. Yeah, it's a clutter. I got it. I'm going to be doing some cleaning up here this weekend because I got a lot of stuff I want to rearrange, and I want to make room for the jig heads with the bait keepers and the unpainted jig heads. So we're going to be adding the sickle hooks. Hopefully this weekend we'll be adding them on the website. We are going to be doing our drawing later on this afternoon. That's the list of the names and the gifts that we've gotten so far this week, and we're also going to be adding the people that are the paid members on our channel here too. So except for James is Oklahoma Dirt Outdoors. He he said to take his name off the list this week. He said he didn't want to give off the wrong impression that because he's my friend, you know, and he lives nearby. He doesn't want everybody to think I'm being preferential with him, and that's the reason he's winning. Hang on, I'm going to switch this over. Turn this around. That way I get this charging cord out of the way. But we're going to be adding some more unpainted jig heads on the site. We've been selling some. We've been selling a few. So I got to do whatever I can. You know, we've been converting a lot of people that were people that had bought baits from us. A lot of them are now starting to tie jigs, and I'm trying to get to where, and because they're now tying jigs, we've lost them as bait customers. So we're trying to retain some of them and to buy material and stuff from us now. So, and also jig heads. Like those eyes. Yeah, these are the pink eyes. I got these on eBay. These eyes here. They probably still have them somewhere on there, but I've had these eyes for probably a couple of years. I've used them for some of the mystery jig box eyes on those lures, and it's a pretty cool looking eye. I'm finally glad we have this version of our cotton candy. I'm going to bring you guys in closer now. There we go. So I've been trying to get this this cotton candy chenille to where we can start selling it, and I've had a hard time getting with the guy that made that to see if he could make more. This was a custom, in his eyes, was a rainbow chenille, and so he's been really backed up right now. So I'm hoping to get that chenille here to where we can start selling it too. But that color would also work great on other colors too. So it's a really pretty color. We do have enough to keep me busy with these lures here for the next year or so. But I'd like to share the opportunity for other people to use this color chenille. There are some other colors out there that people call cotton candy, and I've used some of them, and they work really good too. So, but I do like this color a lot. I have a fellow that makes me chenille, and he does a really good job at it. Oh, my wife didn't show. I thought she had gotten back, but she hasn't got back yet. Good morning, Mr. Wayman. How you doing? What's the crappie count? What's the crappie and the catfish count? Did you go fishing today? And if you did you catch anything? Might be in today. Oh, good. Good, good, good. One crappie, two bluegills, slow morning. And everybody else that's joining us for the first time, happy Memorial Weekend. And if you don't live in the U.S., it's just happy regular day. Happy regular day to everybody else out there. Oh, she just pulled in. Look at that. Just as I was talking, she just pulled in. I make jigs and experiment with all kinds of colors, heads. It definitely makes a difference, mostly when I fish. When the fish are not. Yeah, that it does. It sure does. I tell everybody. Some people will say, does color matter? Yes, the color does matter. Some people will say, oh, I remember years ago people would say, oh, fish, they can't see colors. And within the last 8 years or so with forward-facing sonar, it's kind of disproved that, because people with a forward-facing sonar, they can see that the fish do react to different colors. And I believe they can see different colors. Especially one, you get a crappie that's feeling kind of cotton candy. They're in the mood for eating some cotton candy. They'll take this jig. Yes, they sure will. Oh, thank you. And yep, they see ultraviolet. Yep. Again, until somebody does a brain transplant and puts a human head inside of a crappie, we're never going to exactly know what that animal sees. You know, I remember growing up, you know, people would say that flies, they look and in such a way to where they see, like, you know, they see all around them, but until we have a human transplant inside of a crappie head or a bass head, we're never going to exactly know how they see. And I know that's kind of weird, me saying that, but you know, it's kind of true. We do know how they react and how they engage a bait from videos and doing, you know, people doing live, you know, using a forward-facing sonar. That forward-facing sonar has helped a lot, because people can see how the fish reacts. They see how they move in the water, and I do believe it's kind of messed up tournament fishing, though. It's messed up a lot of crappie fishing, a lot of bass fishing. Like most fish, they have both. Yep. And I was watching, and now I'd made this comment probably about a week ago. It could have been sooner, you know, earlier than that, but where the spawn, I noticed on Claremore Lake, the crappie would spawn twice a year. And I noticed that probably 10 years ago or so. Fishing in the fall, and you're catching some of these females, and they look like they just got through dropping a lot of eggs. And for some of you guys that don't know that experience or seeing them, there's a certain way that the female looks like when she drops a lot of eggs in the spawn. Well, we were catching crappie like that a few years back on Claremore Lake, and they look like they just spawned in the fall. And I was watching somebody's live stream a day or two ago, and they fish out of Florida, and they were talking in Florida about the crappie spawning, you know, twice a year. And I'm like, hey, that matches up with my theory here on Claremore Lake. And they were also talking about how the red ear spawn twice a year over there too. See, in order best, red, orange, yellow. Yep, they do. And you know what? That red changes color. You know, it does change colors. There's a couple of videos out there, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, you know, Facebook, whatever, TikTok, where they show these different palettes of colors, like these foam pallets going down in the water, and as they're going deeper and deeper, you see that there's a color transition as they keep going deeper in the water. So there are colors out there that do show up brighter in muddy water, and also in depth too. This color here that I'm going to show you, I'm going to pull it up here. I had tied it a couple years back. I mean, we're talking probably about 9-10 years ago. And that's the slim brim. That color there, I tied it that long ago. And I got invited to go to a hand-tied fishing tournament on Eufaula Lake. And they asked me to bring a bunch of lures packaged to where, you know, they said I could sell my lures while I was fishing in the tournament. And so this one guy buys that color there, and he ends up winning the big crappie of the tournament that weekend. And I had never fished Eufaula ever before that. I didn't know that their water was going to look like hot chocolate. The water literally looked like it was hot chocolate. The deep lake, they see cold. Yes, they do. With more oxygen, crappie see purple and pink down deep. Yes, they do. And something that I've learned just in this is my fishing experience. It may not be science, okay, guys? But it's my observation, and it's also my interpretation and application, is that in extreme hot climates or seasons, and also extreme cold weather, that the crappie become more docile. And my experience has always been, if you're fishing in the middle of summer or the middle of winter, to go with smaller baits. Smaller baits seem to work better for me. And again, I don't know if that's your experience or whoever that's listening, but that's my experience, is you go small when the climates are pretty bad. And for me, because the crappie are more docile in our lake, that they're not gonna be aggressive to go pursue a bait that may be 3 feet, 6 feet away from them. They're not gonna go out of their way to be curious about a splash in the water or some vibration in the water that's a longer distance away. And because they're not in their feeding pattern, and what I call a feeding pattern in some cases, or feeding season, I'll just illustrate it with that. There is that pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn, the crappie are using a lot of energy, they're wasting a lot of calories, and because they're doing that, they're more aggressive to get their food because they're hungry, and because they're using a lot of energy. And that's usually in the spring. Now in the summertime, they're not super crazy about chasing a big old shad, you know, or a big minnow, but they will go after a smaller bait because they don't have to use as much energy. You know, it's just like a snack to them. Red is first, loose color, and dark gray. Second is black for high contrast. Yep. Mud dog works in dirty water. Yes, the mud dog does work. It works really good. And we get a lot of the customers that buy our dark colored lures, like the mud dog, the blackout, or people that fish like on Eufaula Lake in Oklahoma, or Grenada. That's another muddy water lake. We get a lot of customers that will get dark colors. And here's a misnomer. I used to be told that when I was started making baits, people would say, don't make a red jig, because all they ever do is catch gar. And so, me being a very new to crappie fishing and a very new bait maker, I never put red out there. I thought, well, I'll just stay away from red if that's all it does, because I'm taking some of these people's advice, and so I never had any red in my lures. But I found out a lot differently, you know, just throughout the years and other people's experiences, that red's a good color. Red's a good color to use. Now, for me, if I fish at night, two of the colors that work really good for me at night are purple and a darker blue. Not a light blue, but a darker blue. For some reason, on Claremore Lake, and that they seem to bite better on those two colors right there. And again, that's my experience on Claremore Lake and Oologah Lake. A lot of people, they fish different lakes, they have different experiences. But that's my experience. So guys, I'm going to take a quick break here. And I'm not going to see if my wife needs any help. At the same time, I've been on here for over 2 hours. So I will be seeing you guys here in a little bit. You must sell a lot of those. Yes, I do. I sell a bunch. I wish I sold more. I wish the wall was half empty and we had lures flying off the wall. But we're now entering, it's still spring here. But we still probably have about another month of busyness. But right around July, that's when it starts slowing down a lot. Our two slowest months are July and August. And so I'm hoping that with some of the new products that we're putting out there, that we'll be able to stay busy and we won't be in a financial famine. So we'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you there, John. Thank you there, Deborah. Thank you there, Wayman. Everybody that's been in the channel, EWAS. We got Big John. Who else do we have in here? I don't know if anybody else is still. I'm just scrolling down. David. We will be having our drawing somewhere around 4 or 5 o'clock today. And I look forward to seeing you. Richard, I don't know if Richard's still in here. So we see you guys later. You guys have a good day. If I don't see you, you guys have a good Memorial weekend. Okay, goodbye. God bless.